From factory worker to metal legend, Ozzy Osbourne's true story. Learn English with real stories. Let me ask you something. Can genius coexist with self-destruction? When does talent become a dangerous obsession? Can someone be both a musical visionary and their own worst enemy? This is not just a story. It's a lesson about power, creativity, and human complexity. This story will challenge you. This story will teach you new English words. And this story will make you think. His name was John Michael Osbourne, but the world knew him as Ozzy. Ozzy became his nickname, meaning bear-like. And like a wild bear, he was both powerful and unpredictable. He was born in Birmingham, England, in a poor working-class family. He grew up with poverty, dyslexia, and deep insecurity. He became a factory worker with broken dreams, then a struggling musician fighting for survival. Later, the frontman of Black Sabbath, pioneers of heavy metal. And finally, a controversial legend who changed music forever, but nearly destroyed himself in the process. Chapter 1. Origins, December 3, 1948, Birmingham, England. Industrial smoke filled the gray sky like prayers nobody answered. Factory sirens echoed through narrow streets, mixing with the distant hum of war-torn rebuilding. In a tiny house on Lodge Road, where hope came in small portions, Thelma and Jack Osbourne welcomed their fourth child, John Michael. The smell of coal dust mixed with his mother's cooking. 6 children shared 2 small bedrooms. His father worked nights at the metal factory, his hands permanently stained black. Money was always scarce. Food was simple, bread, potatoes, and dreams that seemed as distant as the stars. Young John was different. Words looked strange on paper, dancing like ghosts he couldn't catch. Letters seemed to flip and twist. Teachers called him slow. Classmates laughed at his stuttering. But inside his mind, melodies played constantly, a symphony only he could hear. At age 15, he left school. No diploma, no skills, no hope. His first job, killing animals at a slaughterhouse, blood on his hands every morning, death in his eyes every night. Each day felt like prison. You can escape poverty, but can you escape yourself? One cold evening, crackling through static and interference, he heard the Beatles on the radio. Something awakened inside him. Music wasn't just sound, it was escape. It was power. It was salvation calling his name. There has to be more than this, whispered the boy who would become a legend. But how could a dyslexic factory worker become a musician? Sometimes the loudest voices come from the darkest silence. Chapter 2. First Struggles. John became Ozzy. He met Tony Iommi, a guitarist who had lost fingertips in a factory accident. 2 broken boys from the same broken city, their pain echoing in empty rehearsal rooms. They formed a band called Earth. Birmingham's music scene was brutal. Clubs paid almost nothing. Audiences threw bottles that shattered like dreams on concrete floors. Band members quit weekly, their footsteps disappearing into the night. Ozzy lived on beans and bread. He slept in abandoned buildings where rats scurried across broken floorboards. Some nights, hunger drove him to steal food just to survive. When you have nothing, everything becomes music. The music industry ignored them. Record labels said their sound was too dark, too heavy, too strange. Radio DJs laughed at the demo tapes. Ozzy's voice was raw, untrained, desperate, like a wolf howling at an indifferent moon. Critics called them noisemakers. But noise, sometimes, is just truth played too loud. Yet Ozzy refused to surrender. He practiced in mirrors, watching his reflection become someone else. He studied performers like Alice Cooper, learning that shock could be art, controversy could be currency, fear could be freedom. In 1970, they changed their name to Black Sabbath. Their first song, Black Sabbath, crawled from speakers like something from nightmares, heavy, haunting, hypnotic, dark, heavy, frightening, beautiful. Let me ask you something. Would you risk everything for a dream that everyone says is impossible? Would you bet your soul on a song nobody wants to hear? Their first album was recorded in just 2 days. Cost $200. It sounded like musical nightmares wrapped in steel guitar strings. Radio stations refused to play it, but young people bought it anyway. They understood the darkness. They felt the power pulsing through the speakers. Black Sabbath was born. The world would never sound the same. Chapter 3. The Turning Point. Between 1970 and 1975, Black Sabbath conquered the world like thunder conquering silence. Their concerts became religious experiences for outcasts. Teenagers with long hair and black clothes found their anthem pounding through amplifiers that shook the earth. Heavy metal was born from their fingertips and Ozzy's tortured vocals. Ozzy's voice became legendary, a banshee wail that spoke to broken souls. His stage presence evolved from awkward to magnetic, like watching lightning learn to dance. He commanded crowds with primal energy that seemed to channel electricity itself. But every crown comes with its thorns. Success brought new demons whispering in his ear. Money meant drugs. Fame meant excess spiraling into darkness. Cocaine replaced food. Alcohol replaced sleep. The boy who escaped poverty now faced a different prison, addiction that rattled like chains around his soul. His bandmates watched him disappear into white powder and amber bottles. Recording sessions became battles fought in studio sound booths. Tours became disasters where spotlights revealed empty eyes. Ozzy would forget lyrics mid-song, miss shows, collapse on stage like a marionette with cut strings. The music suffered. Relationships crumbled like old photographs. His darkest moment arrived like a funeral bell. Black Sabbath fired him. The band that made him famous rejected him. He was alone, addicted, and seemingly finished. The headlines echoed through empty hotel rooms. Ozzy Osbourne, from Prince to pauper. In a hotel room in Los Angeles, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead, Ozzy stared at a bottle of pills. Is this how it ends? He wondered, his reflection staring back like a ghost. The factory worker's sun had touched the sky, only to fall back to earth with broken wings. Sometimes you have to lose everything to find what was always there. But somewhere in that darkness, through static and despair, a voice whispered, "You're not done yet." The voice sounded like his mother, like his future, like hope, refusing to die. When the world says you're finished, the real story is just beginning. Chapter 4. Success and Impact. Ozzy's solo career began. His first album, Blizzard of Oz, proved his critics wrong. Songs like Crazy Train and Mr. Crowley showed his evolution. He wasn't just a metal singer, he was an artist. His personal life transformed too. In 1971, he had married Thelma Riley, a waitress from Birmingham. Together they had Jessica and Louie, and Ozzy adopted Thelma's son, Elliot. But his addictions and touring destroyed that marriage. It was a terrible mistake, he later admitted. I put that woman through hell. After his divorce in 1982, he married Sharon Arden on July 4th that same year, a date he chose so he'd never forget his anniversary. Sharon, daughter of Black Sabbath's manager, became both his wife and business partner. Together they had 3 children, Amy, Kelly, and Jack. His concerts became theatrical experiences, fake blood, pyrotechnics, costumes. He threw raw meat to audiences. He bit the heads off bats. Sharon created Ozfest, turning his madness into a musical empire worth over $220 million. MTV made him a household name. The Osbournes' reality show revealed his humanity. Viewers saw beyond the Prince of Darkness persona. They met a loving father, a devoted husband, a man struggling with his demons. His children, Kelly and Jack, became celebrities. Amy chose privacy over fame. His influence on music became undeniable. Bands worldwide copied his style. His voice inspired countless singers. Heavy metal festivals drew millions of fans. He wasn't just a musician, he was a cultural phenomenon. Awards followed. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction, Grammy Awards, star on Hollywood Walk of Fame. The dyslexic factory worker had become musical royalty and one of rock's wealthiest legends. But success couldn't heal all wounds. The drugs, the alcohol, the reckless behavior, they left scars that never fully disappeared. Chapter 5: Conflict and Pain. Behind the makeup and madness, Ozzy fought battles no audience could see, demons that performed in empty theaters of his mind. His relationship with his first children, Jessica, Lewis, and Elliot, was complicated by his addictions that swallowed years like hungry ghosts. "I wasn't a good father," he admitted, his voice breaking like glass on concrete. "I can't even remember when they were born." The hardest prison is the one you build for yourself. With Sharon, he tried to be better, but even then, his demons haunted him like shadows that danced when no one was watching. In 1989, he attacked Sharon during a blackout, waking up in jail with no memory of the violence his hands had unleashed. Addiction nearly destroyed everything he'd built, brick by precious brick. Love is not enough when the monster lives inside you. In 2003, a quad bike accident nearly killed him, metal and flesh colliding under an indifferent sky. Broken ribs, collapsed lung, damage to his spine that would require multiple surgeries over the years, like promises he had to keep paying. As he lay in the hospital, machines beeping like electronic prayers, he reflected on his choices. Had the rebellion been worth this pain that echoed in his bones? Parkinson's disease diagnosis in 2019 changed everything with the finality of a closing door. Sharon revealed in 2020 that Ozzy could no longer walk, though the disease didn't affect his voice. The hands that once commanded stadiums now trembled uncontrollably like autumn leaves. Years of spinal surgeries from his 2003 accident had already weakened his body. The physical toll of decades, the drugs, the accidents, the sheer violence he'd inflicted on himself, was finally demanding payment with interest. Your body keeps the score, even when your mind forgets. Critics accused him of being a bad influence, their voices echoing from pulpits and editorial columns. Parents blamed him for corrupting youth with music that spoke truths they didn't want to hear. Religious groups protested his concerts with signs held high like shields. Some accusations were fair. His behavior had often been destructive, dangerous, irresponsible. But sometimes the prophet and the madman wear the same face. But his fans never abandoned him, their loyalty burning like eternal flames. They understood that his darkness reflected their own struggles. His honesty about addiction helped others seek treatment in fluorescent-lit rooms where hope was dispensed in small doses. His survival inspired those who felt hopeless, proving that dawn always comes, even after the longest night. On July 5, 2025, seated on a black throne because Parkinson's had stolen his ability to stand, Ozzy performed one final time with Black Sabbath at Birmingham's Villa Park. Over 40,000 people watched, their voices creating a cathedral of sound. 5.8 million streamed online, screens glowing like modern campfires. All proceeds went to charity, the Cure Parkinson's Trust, Birmingham Children's Hospital, and Acorn Children's Hospice. Even in endings, there can be generosity. 17 days later, on the morning of July 22, 2025, in his beloved Birmingham, the city that shaped him like a blacksmith shapes steel, Ozzy Osbourne passed away at age 76. His family confirmed he was surrounded by love in his final moments, their voices the last music he would ever hear. Years of battling Parkinson's disease, combined with decades of physical toll from addiction and injuries, had finally claimed the Prince of Darkness. Every song must end, but the echo lasts forever. Conclusion: Legacy and Reflection. On July 22, 2025, the world lost a legend whose voice had echoed through 5 decades of human struggle. Ozzy Osbourne, the godfather of heavy metal, passed away at age 76 in Birmingham, the same working-class city where his extraordinary journey began, completing a circle drawn in music and madness. From his final performance just 17 days earlier, seated on his throne because Parkinson's disease had stolen his ability to stand, to his peaceful death surrounded by family in his hometown, Ozzy's journey came full circle, like a song returning to its opening chord. The boy from Lodge Road had returned home, carrying the dreams of millions with him. His death, after years battling Parkinson's and the accumulated damage from decades of excess, marked the end of an era when rock stars were myths made flesh. But his influence spans generations like ripples on an endless lake. From Black Sabbath's dark anthems that gave voice to the voiceless, to his solo triumphs that proved redemption was possible, he created a musical language that spoke to broken souls worldwide. He turned pain into power, darkness into light, and silence into thunder. His $220 million fortune proved that rebellion could be profitable, but more importantly, his reality show proved that darkness could coexist with love around a breakfast table. Behind the Prince of Darkness mask lived a man who loved deeply, failed spectacularly, and found his way back home through the healing power of family. 5 universal lessons from Ozzy's story. 1. Authenticity over perfection. His raw, untrained voice became his strength because truth needs no polish. 2. Resilience through failure. Being fired from his own band led to greater success. Sometimes you have to lose everything to find yourself. 3. Love conquers addiction. Sharon and his children anchored him through chaos when nothing else could. 4. Honesty heals. Admitting his struggles helped others face their own demons in the mirror. 5. Art transcends pain. His darkest experiences created his most powerful music. Beauty often grows in broken ground. He survived what should have killed him. He inspired what should have been forgotten. He loved what should have been lost. The dyslexic factory worker became rock royalty. The troubled husband became a devoted father. The Prince of Darkness became a beacon of hope for anyone who's ever felt like giving up. His children, Jessica, Lewis, Elliot, Amy, Kelly, and Jack, carry forward his complex legacy like torchbearers in the night. His music continues to give voice to the voiceless, power to the powerless, and hope to the hopeless. In garage bands around the world, teenagers pick up guitars and scream into microphones, channeling their pain into something beautiful. That is his truest resurrection. What legacy will you choose to leave behind? Will you let your struggles define you, or will you transform them into something that helps others survive their darkest nights? Tell us in the comments below. What's the one battle you faced and survived? How did you find your voice when the world tried to silence you? And remember, you're not just learning English through these stories. You're discovering that even the most broken people can become legends. You're learning that survival is an art form. You're understanding that every ending is also a beginning. This channel isn't just about language, it's about learning to be human. If Ozzy's story moved you, if it reminded you that hope survives even in the darkest places, share this with someone who needs to hear it. Let them know they're not alone in their struggles. Keep learning, keep fighting, keep singing your song no matter how broken your voice might sound. If you liked this story, please like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to English Life Stories, your channel for real stories, powerful lessons, and better English every day. We have many more real stories to help you become not just a confident English speaker, but a confident human being. Until next time, remember, the show must go on, and so must you. See you soon.